It's that time again for another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. Good morning to you all. We start with some theme music right now, and then the commentary begins. Let it begin. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. And I'm here to talk about some good news with a political twist to it. This is always comes down to that. And basically, what I'm getting at is uh, it came to my attention last night that the Disinformation Governance Board that was set up not even a month ago. Of course, I'm sure they've been working on it longer than that. Is going to be suspended. And as a civil libertarian, a free speech advocate, I am very happy to know And so anyway, being that I am delighted to hear about this situation. I decided to go and let's play it from the Young Turks because Ana Kasparian wanted to share her insight about it, and I'm going to say that while I mostly agree with her, there's just something about what she says in her commentary about it that where I'm a little bit bothered. And anyway, I'll let you hear it for yourself, and then I will comment afterwards. So give me a brief moment here. All right.
A mere 3 weeks after its announcement, DHS's Disinformation Governance Board is being suspended, and that follows weeks of controversy that's been fueled by right-wing attacks. Now, before I get into the details about this, let me just note my own biases should be upfront. I think that it's the right move to suspend this Disinformation Board. I think the Disinformation Board was not defined clearly. I think that it seemed to be some weird, vague, aimless government organization as part of DHS that would have absolutely been abused by a GOP administration. But with that said, let me tell you how this all went down and the failures of DHS under the leadership of Joe Biden to really sell this to the American people. So, unlike the Ministry of Truth in George Orwell's 1984 that became a derogatory comparison point, neither the board nor the person who's supposed to serve as the head of the board, Jankowicz, had any power or ability to declare what is true or false or compel internet providers, social media platforms, or public schools to take action against certain types of speech. In fact, the board itself had no power or authority to make any operational decisions. So the Disinformation Board didn't really have much power in terms of, I guess, censoring the various platforms where disinformation tends to spread. So what exactly would it do? And honestly, until this day, it is not clear. And that is a failure on the part of DHS. So the board, as Taylor Lorenz reports, was created to study best practices in combating the harmful effects of disinformation to help DHS counter viral lies and propaganda that could threaten domestic security. I find that fascinating because the Disinformation Board and DHS overall did a pretty terrible job countering the disinformation by the right wing in regard to the Disinformation Board. And honestly, the Disinformation Board and DHS did a pretty good job assisting the right wing with their disinformation and their attacks because they were just so terrible in explaining what the hell they were up to. Right? The government is not supposed to violate our First Amendment rights. And if you're not abundantly clear about what your Disinformation Board is supposed to do as part of a government agency, the DHS, then people are going to wonder, like, what is this? And it could be a massive violation of my constitutional rights. I think that is a legitimate, common sense concern to have, which is why it was important to be clear about what this board was supposed to do. Now, Alejandro Mayorkas, who's the Secretary for the Department of Homeland Security, was asked about this, and his answer was terrible. Let me remind you what that looked like.
Well, what it does is it works to ensure that the way in which we address threats, the connectivity between threats and acts of violence are addressed without infringing on free speech, protecting civil rights and civil liberties, the right of privacy. And the board, this working group, internal working group, will draw up the best practices and communicate those best practices to the operators, because the board does not have operational authority.
Will American citizens be monitored?
No.
Guarantee that.
So what we do, we the Department of Homeland Security don't monitor American citizens.
You don't believe the board change that?
No, the board does not have any operational authority or capability.
So when you watch that, you get
Okay, let me do this real quick here, and we'll get back to that momentarily. Okay, now I agree with Ana Kasparian that it was a good thing that the Disinformation Governance Board was suspended. Where I take issue with her is that she seems to think it might not be quite as bad under the Democrats than it would be under a future Republican presidency. Now, I agree that it would be horrible under a future Republican presidency, but I will also contend that it would be really, really horrible if it happens under a Democratic administration too, such as the Biden administration. Now, I do believe that the purpose of this Disinformation Governance Board is to curb on what is called conspiracy theories and lies in the news, media, or what have you. I really believe that's what it's for, even though they claim it's supposed to circumvent misinformation that comes out of places like Russia or places like China, what have you. I agree that what you hear, and I'm going to be partisan myself for a moment, what you hear from Fox News and what you hear from One American News Network and what you hear from Newsmax and talk radio and TV preachers and right-wing blogs and online right-wing talking heads, such as your Ben Shapiro types and all of that, Blaze TV, all this, they do spread lies, they do spread misinformation, and they do spread conspiracy theories. And it fucking sucks that they are allowed to get away with it. But I have said this time and time again, as much as it sucks as that they can get away with all this shit, it really fucking sucks. But I'm not comfortable with an agency that can circumvent that, because it's going in the long run going to make these SOBs who are not victims look like victims. And that's my problem with creating this Disinformation Governance Board, especially now in this time in an election year. I am not a Democrat. I am not a Biden supporter, but I am a leftist. And, you know, what little bit of progressive measures and progressiveness that we can get out of Biden and the Democrats, which isn't much, can be put in jeopardy with this kind of shit right here. And it gives Republicans a winning issue, a winning narrative. And it irritates me that the Democrats are so fucking stupid that they dig the hole in their own grave all the time. Honestly, it really just infuriates the hell out of me how they can do this. Honestly, with all, anyway, I'm gonna let you listen to some more Ana Kasparian, and I'll share some more of my takes in a moment. Give me a moment here. Okay, let's continue.
Anything out of it? Did it answer any questions about what the Disinformation Board, which again would be part of the Department of Homeland Security, what would it do? That did not answer any questions. And so when you're not clear about what it's going to do, and when the rollout is as disastrous and chaotic as it was in this case, it opens an opportunity for the right wing to run with it, to run with whatever narrative they have. And that is in fact what happened. And by the way, just one quote from a spokesperson from DHS. The board's purpose has been grossly mischaracterized. It will not police speech. Quite the opposite. Its focus is to ensure that freedom of speech is protected. Really? How? How would it protect freedom of speech? I don't really understand. But anyway, let's talk about the rollout of this new department, which again has now been suspended. And I think suspending it was the right choice, to be clear. The board itself and DHS received criticism for both a somewhat ominous name and scant details of specific mission. Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas said it could have done a better job of communicating what it is and what it isn't. Agreed. In fact, Mayorkas himself could have done a better job in describing what the purpose of this board was supposed to be. Now, administration officials did not brief the relevant congressional staff and committees ahead of the board's launch, and members of Congress who had expressed interest in disinformation weren't even given a detailed explanation about how it would operate. Like, is there?
Well, what I'm going to say is there's a damn commercial right here, so I'm going to try to get rid of it real quick and let her continue. I need to get an ad blocker.
I'm confident in the federal government right now. What is this? So then that creates an opportunity for the right wing to viciously attack the person who was supposed to be the head of the Disinformation Board. Okay, so Nina Jankowicz is her name. She has now stepped down, which, I guess is the right move. It didn't even really matter. They suspended this Disinformation Board anyway. But she was supposed to be the head of the group, and she was the target of this right-wing smear campaign. Just hours after Jankowicz tweeted about her new job, far-right influencer Jack Posey posted tweets accusing the Biden administration of creating a ministry of truth. His 1.7 million followers quickly sprung into action. By the end of the day, there were at least 53,235 posts on Twitter mentioning Disinformation Governance Board, many referencing Jenkins by name. And then, of course, as we know, what tends to follow one of these right-wing spear merchants who spend all of their time freaking off on Twitter is just the right-wing lawmakers taking the lead, right? Following his lead, and that's exactly what happened here. Republican lawmakers echoed Posey's framing and amplified it to their audiences. U.S. Senate House and Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt and Representative Andrew Clyde both posted similar tweets. Former Congressman, or Congresswoman, I should say, Tulsi Gabbard also posted a video repeating his statements. And then, as always, all of the right-wing rags decided to pick up the story and fearmonger about it as well. But look, to be fair to them, it raised red flags for me too. What is this board supposed to do? And even after the media circuit that DHS Secretary Mayorkas did, it was still unclear. And even if you're super trusting toward Democrats, okay, you think, no, don't worry, this sounds great. The government, monitoring disinformation is awesome because Biden's in charge and Democrats are in charge. First of all, I disagree with that. But secondly, okay, but Democrats aren't always in charge. And would you like knowing that, let's say, the Trump administration has a so-called disinformation board meant to monitor disinformation? Would you be okay with it if they're not clear about what the disinformation Disinformation Board is then supposed to do in response to the disinformation? Look, disinformation is a problem. But I don't think the Department of Homeland Security dedicating a portion of its department on a disinformation board is the answer. And it's just a mess. All of it is a mess. So I feel bad for Jankowicz because she ended up being collateral damage in this whole disastrous situation. Some were simply mocking her, making fun of her for parodying a song from Mary Poppins. I saw, by the way, it was super good. A song about misinformation. In another instance, a performance where Jankowicz sings a popular musical theater song about a person's desire to become rich and powerful was misrepresented to imply that she herself was after money and power and would sleep with men to get it. Because the right wing, of course, is always classy. They gotta have a faith.
Okay, hold on a minute. Get back to my ugly mug. I know she's prettier to look at than me, but let's see. Okay. Well, now, here's the thing. She says that suspending was the right choice. And again, reiterating, I agree. It was the right choice. But what bothered me about what she had to say was she was trying to make it out like Nina Jankowicz was some sort of victim. Nina Jankowicz is not a victim. Nina Jankowicz is basically the Marjorie Taylor-Greene of the Democratic Party. She is a Hillary Clinton. She's a Hillary Clinton supporter. She's a corporate Democrat. She's basically what is wrong with the Democratic Party. Anna, don't defend her. She hates people like you and Shank. She hates people like the Gray Zone. I know y'all don't get along with the Gray Zone, and I have problems with the Young Turks in a lot of ways. I don't agree with everything the Young Turks have to say. I agree with some things that the Young Turks have to say. I don't agree with everything that the Gray Zone have to say. I agree with some things that they have to say. I guess you could say that my politics is between TYT and the Gray Zone. I'm my own person. But here's the thing. Nina Jankowicz is not a victim in the slightest. She's every bit of a horrible human being as Marjorie Taylor-Greene. She's every bit as authoritarian, and she's every bit as dangerous. The only difference between, I said this before, the only difference between someone like Nina Jankowicz and Marjorie Taylor-Greene is if you walk in Washington, D.C., and you run across Nina Jankowicz and you call her a fucking bitch, she'll probably have security pull you away. You go and run across Marjorie Taylor-Greene and you say, you suck as a human being. Just, don't even have to call her a fucking bitch, even though there's much worse things I like to call her. Marjorie Taylor-Greene, if she didn't have a gun on her, she will find something, as far as I'm concerned, and she'll kill whoever. If she could legally get away with it, she will probably kill somebody. She has it in her to do this sort of thing. And before anybody, okay, let me rephrase that before anybody puts a lawsuit on me. I'm not saying that she did anything. I'm saying, in my opinion, I think that Marjorie Taylor-Greene is that dangerous. She has it in her to harm people. And I mean, she's the kind of person that will read the Turner Diaries and think that's deep philosophical reading, and that's something that people on her side should model as a movement. And as far as I'm concerned, she is every bit as dangerous in her own way. I'm talking about Nina Jankowicz. And there's no need to defend Nina Jankowicz at all. She's not a victim. She's not a victim at all. Now, I know that she needed to go and do a little bit of a jab at Tulsi Gabbard. And there are things about Tulsi Gabbard I'm bothered by these days. I'm not as much of a fan of hers like I used to be. I've done many commentaries on Tulsi Gabbard. And I probably will be doing commentaries in the future on Tulsi Gabbard. But thing about it is that Tulsi Gabbard has been very correct about this Ministry of Truth. Then she said it, that, totalitarian countries are the kind of societies that will come up with things like a Ministry of Truth, a Disinformation Governance Board. And yeah, just because some people on the right wing had red flags about this, a lot of people on the right wing, I don't care about what they stand for. And a lot of them, they're only grandstanding because Joe Biden and the Democrats are the one that came up with this idea. Believe me, if Donald Trump, or even worse, Ron DeSantis, because Donald Trump is a comedy show, Donald Trump is a dope, Donald Trump is goofy, he's incompetent. He's capable of creating a governance board, but I think it will be, I think that he's also very incompetent and will come out in a very incompetent way. Ron DeSantis is a smarter, more right-wing, more efficient, competent Donald Trump, which makes him more dangerous. So Ron DeSantis would use this for real evil, which is why this Disinformation Governance Board should have never been created to begin with. Honestly, it should have never been created to begin with. But what kills me is when right-wing people and right-wing administrations create something, and liberals and progressives end up getting blamed for it. Because Disinformation Governance Board would have been a part of the Department of Homeland Security, which the Department of Homeland Security was created by the Bush administration, Bush and Cheney, in 2001. Just like Obamacare was created really by the Heritage Foundation. They were the ones that came up with the idea. They were for the idea before they were against it. So it's somehow when right-wing people come up with policies, somehow liberals and progressives end up getting the blame for it. Because frankly, a lot of mainstream American liberals and progressives do not have common sense. There's something about them. They're so smart. They have no common sense, and they just allow themselves to get outwitted every time. Let's continue. Okay, hold on. Okay, Anna, continue.
They got to provide a face, a person, a specific individual to attack, and unfortunately, she ended up being the person who had to deal with the brunt of that.
Good.
But again, this is more an issue with the haphazard way the Biden administration and his cabinet tends to roll things out in certain situations. And now they're closing up shop, and it looks super weak, right? Because they announced it 3 weeks ago, and now they're like, oh, we got a lot of attacks by the right wing. We should cancel this. Let's not do it. Look, if you want to dedicate government employees to studying disinformation, how it spreads, just do it. But like creating a disinformation board, I think rightly raises red flags. Rolling it out in a haphazard way where people are questioning what it's about is also a problem. And then when the person who's supposed to head this program gets smeared, attacked, and defamed by the right wing, you turn around and you tell that woman to not defend herself. And that's exactly what happened. Final part of the story. As she endured the attacks, Jenkins herself was told to stay silent. After attempting to defend herself on Twitter on April 27th, she was told by DHS officials to not issue any further public statements, according to multiple people close to her. I mean, it's just pathetic. All of it. Every part of this is pathetic. The smear merchant's pathetic. Haphazard way that the Biden administration at DHS rolled this out, pathetic. And the way that they didn't let a woman who was being unfairly targeted defend herself, also incredibly pathetic. This is what they're wasting their time with, you know. When in reality, the federal government unilaterally could do things that actually materially improve people's lives. Like, very easy, like canceling student loan debt. Fine, just do like the bare minimum. Do the 10,000 that you promised earlier. You can't even do that. It's just, we're supposed to support this. We're supposed to be excited by this party. It's just one nightmare after the next.
Okay, well, as I said, I agree with basically 85%, 86% of what she had to say. It was just that rough 14% where she had to be kind of a loyal Democrat. Because I guess that Katzenberg money put a leash on those two. I mean, hey, at least they're better at this. They have a little more integrity than Majority Report. I have not heard Majority Report say a damn thing about this Disinformation Governance Board. If they did, I missed out on it. But then again, I'm going by my biases. I rather listen to Shank and Anna than to listen to Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland. Just my take. But what I'm going to say is that if I had to choose between them, but what I'm going to say is that I do largely agree that it's a good thing it's been suspended. And here's the thing: I know it would have had to have been taken to the courts at some point. And I've been looking online who's been trying to do a lawsuit or what have you. I've been trying to find out if there's been any big stink about it. And just like the anti-BDS laws, they're springing up all over the country. You don't really hear much talk about it in the mainstream media. Now, Fox will, because it was done by a Democrat presidency, and they're trying to go and take away our rights, as the Republicans are sitting there trying to undermine the rights of women and trying to undermine the rights of people, trying to destroy the wall that defines the separation of church and state, trying to go and basically say, trying to go and ban contraceptions and ban porn and ban what two people do behind closed doors, even if they're married. I mean, this is the big government. They claim that they're, when you hear some of these Republicans claim that they're for small government, don't believe them. They're only opposed to the big government of the other side, but they're okay with the big government overreach that they're in favor of. So, and I mean, someone like myself, I'm fucking honest, I mean, when it comes to big government, I think government's there to go and give you health care. I think the government should be there to go and make sure your college is paid for. I think that every person should have a house, guaranteed. I think that, I think that there should be low-cost public transportation readily available all over. I think that a job that pays a living wage should be there, where you have infrastructure perpetually being built and improved, where there are jobs for people to go and make a living at. All these things. Some people call it socialism. Duh. I call it common sense. But, this Orwellian thing. I mean, George Orwell. As I said, this man was a socialist. Man who wrote 1984. He was a socialist. He was a libertarian opposed to all forms of authoritarianism. And believe me, I trust what an anti-authoritarian and what a socialist, a proponent of socialist, a libertarian socialist, if you will, a democratic socialist, like George Orwell. Give me his vision over the vision of Ayn Rand any day. Any day. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Also, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and remember, we have a class struggle to wage. No war like the class war. We also have a First Amendment to always say free speech and freedom of the press, expressed by a temporary victory for the First Amendment with the suspension of this Disinformation Governance Board. We need to fight like hell to not let this shit manifest itself like this again. And until next time, in relation to things like suspending the Disinformation Governance Board, remember, we're all Julian Assange. With this, my cue is where I will tell everybody music.